Hey, everybody. So we're doing the angel Malkhiel. So it's probably an angel that you haven't heard of very much, although I think we did have it in one of our classes.
I think so.
Yeah, it was either, I don't know, but it was in one of the classes. But basically, the name of Malkhiel means uh, God is my king, right? Or king of God, or one of the kings of God, but God is my king. And Malkiel, has, protective qualities and helps with guidance. But there's one piece that I'd really like to focus on when it comes to Malkiel. One of the things that's in the book, or if you did the class handout, is it talks about how the angel Malkiel protects the soul's journey, like protector of the soul's journey. And that kind of fits in with a lot of what we do with the different classes. Even when we're doing healing of the digestive tract or the respiratory tract, we're always talking about the dysregulation of the nervous system, which is another way of saying stress or, fight, flight, or basically like survival drives or survival mechanisms. When the nervous system gets very agitated. And then there's the aspect of vagal tone. And vagal tone is associated with rest and repair, but it's also associated with healing, um, releasing, and it's associated with good, healthy digestion, so the digestive tract. But on a deeper level, it's also how we restore ourselves after we've gone through a very stressful or traumatic event, or as it keeps getting more and more developed and more refined, it really turns into that aspect of being more and more conductive to the divine. And when we look at situations as we go through our life, you could kind of say, or at least this is the way that I look at it when I look at different situations that have happened or in my life, or boom, when they're right in front of me, is I'm standing at a crossroads and I can do the survival thing and you know, make decisions based on just trying to get my way or trying to survive the situation, or I make decisions based on trying to do the right thing, trying to do what's best, even if it takes a lot more effort from me or means I have to sit with something that's very uncomfortable or even be vulnerable a little bit, that, to be able to sit with something so that I don't lose myself. I think a couple of years ago we started talking about in some situations, you're dealing with a difficult person and you don't want to become a monster to defeat the monster. Like these things are in front of you or presenting in front of you, but to always be choosing the path of light or choosing the path of the soul. So, really, in the normal everyday life, that idea of sitting with something and feeling in your body, and then sitting with it in awareness, you're really choosing vagal tone, but really what you're choosing is the soul. You're choosing light, you're choosing the soul, rather than survival and kind of that degenerative downward spiral, right? And so a lot of times we say we get to choose, but do we? A lot of times we come into a situation where we're standing in that crossroads. We're not just all in peace and go, do I choose the way of the soul or do I go this way of, being stressed out and maybe making bad decisions and just being agitated and trying to make something happen rather than just letting divine order or the divine flow unfold in front of me. It would be amazing if that's the way life worked, but I've never experienced it and I've never seen it. Usually we come to that crossroads with a ton of baggage, a bunch of things going on, a bunch of things in our face where we're trying to make a decision based on that, but also all the other things going on, including a bunch of things from our past. And really the more that we step into vagal tone, the more that we let go of the past. We let go of the tension. We let go of the downward spiral. We let go of the degeneration. We start unpacking those bags so that when we come to that crossroads, we're not overloaded. We're able to make kind of a decision rather than a reaction. Because really that's what happens. As much as we'd like to say, like, I come to the crossroads and I can choose this or I can choose that. But a lot of times, for a long time, what happens is we get to the crossroads and we just go, hey, and we go down the road that is very survival oriented. We really we really don't choose because we're reacting and we're agitated and we're afraid or we're upset or we're traumatized or confused. We just, you know, this thing used to happen to me when I lived in Southern California. You know, I lived in a place where wherever you went, you had to jump on a freeway. And there was, just immediately by my house, there was probably six different freeways that you could jump onto to connect to other freeways. And so many times I would jump in my car and, the traffic was crazy. You really, you had to be on it and really making your way through traffic. Otherwise, you'd really get stuck in the slow lane and 10 miles might take 2 hours. And so I'd jump in the car and I'd start driving and I'd be going as fast as I can. Ugh, I got to get there. And I'd realize about 10 minutes into the drive, where am I going? There was times that if I wasn't thinking, I was on the wrong freeway. I was heading in the wrong direction, but I was getting there as fast as I could, and you could say it wasn't really PTSD, but it was PTSD-ish. If you've spent enough time on those freeways, it starts to be a little bit traumatizing. And, there's times where you almost run out of gas and you got to go to the bathroom, but you can't get off. And, it's just craziness. And I remember one time being on the freeway and just going, how much do I do this in life? Yeah, this is a freeway, but how many times do I come up to a situation in life and just speed towards something as fast as I can, not thinking anything out, not going, where is this going? Where is this going to take me? But just, I got to get there as fast as I can. I got to survive. I got to make it. I got to minimize the damages, you know? And that's what instincts are. Like instincts are just these reactions where we don't cognitively think. We react, and then later we try to make sense out of it. And so, this idea of the protector of the soul is kind of code for saying this angel really helps to establish a kind of vagal tone. There's vagal tone, and then there's vagal reinforcement, where it really starts to get stronger and stronger. Then there starts to be vagal anchoring, where it really starts to sink in even to the front part of your brain, where it's about impulse control and decisions, right? And when the vagal tone really starts to affect that area, all of a sudden, choices rather than reactions. We keep going to choices. And I would say the angel Malkhiel has an impact on that area of our brain that's about impulse and about control. It's that aspect that has to do with vagal anchoring, right? And then even past the vagal anchoring is an even deeper level of vagal tone that eventually, if you keep pursuing, eventually turns into self-awareness. The thing that pulls us away from self-awareness is our instincts, our rushing around, our survival. And, self-awareness, we think like, oh, like I'm aware, but self-awareness would be kind of like what some circles call enlightenment or an awakening. And I'm not talking about like the new age way people talk about it. I'm talking about old school awakening, old school, self-awareness. And so once that happens, how you perceive the things that happen in life begin to shift or begin to change, or at least that's what I hear. Yeah. So we're going to do something right off the bat. We're going to work the name before we even use the oils. But before we work the name, we're going to use what we call a mudra. And this mudra is associated with a great teacher that was all about the light, right? So you're taking your right hand and you're touching your thumb and your index finger, and that's eventually going to go on your chest, right? Your left hand is going to do the same thing, but they're going to intertwine, right? So they're going to look like a chain link, right? So they're intertwined like that. So the left one is this one that's sideways, and then the right one is the one that's pointed up and it's coming to your chest, right? So when you sit and hold this mudra and you're just practicing awareness, this begins to increase vagal tone. This begins to reinforce vagal tone, and this helps to cultivate vagal anchoring. So we're just going to sit for a moment, and we're going to hold this mudra. The back of your right hand is on your heart. Now, you can be aware of your body, or you can be aware of your breath, the air moving in and out of your nostrils. You're not controlling your breath, you're just being still. Continue to hold that mudra, and I'm going to chant the name of the angel. If you want, quietly in your mind, you can chant along with me. So let's practice for a moment. Mal, ki, L. Mal. Key. L. Mal. Key. L. Mol. Key. Mol. Key. Mol. Just let the mudra go. Let everything go. Okay, let's pull out the oil. So you're pulling out the blend for Malkhiel. And there's different patterns that are helpful for cultivating vagal tone, but there's one in particular that helps with cultivating vagal tone while increasing awareness, mental awareness. So let's start with our awareness on the back of our head. Your awareness is on the back of our head. We're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now, move your awareness to the forehead where the hairline is. Your awareness is on your forehead. Now, move your awareness to that area between your shoulder blades, the back heart. Good. Move your awareness to the front heart, the center of your chest. And then pause and be still. So we're going to do that again. Your awareness is on the back head. Nice, long, slow, deep breath. Your awareness is on your forehead. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now, move your awareness to the back heart, that area between the shoulder blades. Your awareness is on the back heart, that area between your shoulder blades. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then your awareness is on the front heart. Your awareness is on your front heart. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then you're just letting it go. Let go of the inhalation. Let's go back to the mudra. Right hand goes into this position. Left hand, like so. Rest it on your heart. Close your eyes and just let go. And silently in your mind, repeat Mal Ki El. Mal Ki El. Mal Ki El. Oh, relax your hands and just let go. Just let your body relax. Feel it unwind though. Now, there's two pieces to what I'm talking about. There's that ability to reach the vagal tone. We're holding the mudra, or we're doing the pattern. We're letting the body go into a deeper, relaxed state, right? But then there's also the outside influences, right? So let's do this. Let's talk about this first part, and then we'll talk about the outside influences from the environment, right? So let's go ahead and do shares and questions, and then we'll come back and we'll do another round going a bit deeper into the practice with Malkhiel.
You can unmute yourself. You can type in. Go ahead, Dan.
Hey, hey.
Get you unmuted. Not unmuted
No,
quite.
there we go. Thanks for the click. Boy, that was really relaxing. That I
Yeah,
felt
it's
that kills.
like sometimes they're very expansive. This one just keeps going like deeper into chill mode.
Yeah, yeah. I had taken an inhaler, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes ago, and it usually makes me kind of jittery, right? But I could actually feel that kind of just releasing as I was
Oh,
doing it.
good,
Yeah,
good,
so I was kind of really pleased with that. That was kind of
good.
neat. The other things, my fingers seemed to be activated. I could feel energies like or something going on with my fingers. Is that part of the mudra? Mudra?
Yeah,
That
I would say so. Because there's different ways of doing that mudra. Like here, I have you guys kind of going like this.
yeah.
Um, and then there's versions where instead of being like how you kind of see like that, they're touching like that.
Uh-huh.
And there's times where sometimes practitioners will do it like where the fingers aren't intertwined, but you're touching, the index fingers and thumbs all are touching at a particular point where you're going like this.
Oh, it's like a
So
Bluetooth
there
almost.
is a lot of energy moving through
Yeah.
the fingertips. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then just a kind of a clarification for the mudra. Are you trying to keep it in the center or your fingers can obviously touch each other, right? I mean, you're not trying to keep
Yeah,
it
like a
separate.
lot of times I start off there, but like I find like how like where they're touching like that is stronger.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Part of mudras are interesting. They're part of a practice where they call it like you using your posture to shift your nervous system or your energy body. And it just means you're holding the body in a position or you're doing whatever. And a lot of times it's like hand movements or eye movements or something like that. But so for one, you're holding this and I'm just saying like, oh, you're helping to achieve greater levels of vagal tone and you're anytime you increase vagal tone, you're bringing in light, right? But then if you look at what this is doing in the physiology or the energy body, part of doing this, and especially when, like you said, the energy is moving in the fingers, and so you either have this or you're touching them like this. Like when they touch them like this, they don't hold it to the heart, they'll go like this, like out in front of the
Okay.
body. And so we can play with that tonight. It's quite strong. Like
Okay.
it's a variation of the same mudra. So, on one level, yes, you are increasing vagal tone. The body is relaxing, the body's regulating, it's going into rest and repair mode, or just at least in relaxation mode. The adrenals are calming down, the dysregulation is calming down. But what I would say is, from an energetic point of view, what starts to happen is the ajna, the area between the eyebrows, becomes more activated, and the lower correspondence to the ajna is the basic, which is the survival mode. And so, like when you're going through and doing this, the ajna, which is the master chakra, begins to regulate all the chakras, right?
Mm,
But especially
basic.
navel and the basic, right?
Okay.
And so it starts to regulate the basic chakra. And going back to that idea of the instinctive responses, the more you kind of sit with this, the more that the ajna activates, and the more the ajna goes to the basic. Okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's gonna be okay.
Oh,
Nice baby, good baby, like just everything calm down. You're okay. It's a safe space. And pretty soon the ajna will regulate the basic chakra, because a lot of our dysregulation and a lot of our survival drives are coming out of the basic chakra and also the navel, but a lot of it's the basic chakra. And so if you look at it from the point of view of your physiology, what's happening is the ajna directly impacts the prefrontal cortex, right? And so when you are sitting there with this mudra like this, it's calming down and regulating impulse control, and it's helping to improve decision making. And so by sitting there and doing this, you're not just relaxing your body, but a lot of times what we call stress is more of a reactiveness. It's a conditioned impulsive response, and the decisions become more of a reaction, less than like, what am I going to do here? It's more like, put out the fire. And
right.
so it's like, it kind of, by doing it, it kind of gives you back your ability to make a decision in a situation rather than just a reaction. And
Right.
so the more that you sit and you hold this, the more that it regulates the system. And that means that more light can come in, right? So you're starting to open up the pathway in the mind and in the body for greater levels of light or soul interaction. And like what people call self-awareness is simply the movement away. I mean, if you boil it down, it's mechanical. It's just a movement away from instinct and reaction, and the ability to become cognitive, and in that ability to be cognitive, for the mind to be regulated and quiet. That's all it is, right? And so, like it sounds easy, but it's calming down the instincts is a lot like riding a bucking bronco. Like you got to get on it, and it's like, and you feel like, oh, I feel so calm right now. But then you go out into the world, and then, different things will trigger you, and so you keep just calming things down, and then pretty soon, it's not like a light switch goes off. It's just like all of a sudden, it's just there. It's just it snuck up on you, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, this situation would be really upsetting, but it's still upsetting, but I'm not reactive, you know?
Right.
And even if you feel your body's having a fear response, you kind of go like, oh, look, my body's having a fear response. Very, very interesting, or, however. And so, just that mudra by itself is very potent. And when you mix it with the working the name of Malkiel, they kind of play off each other. Like Malkiel also does a lot of similar qualities that we're talking about that the mudra does. And so it definitely impacts the prefrontal cortex and the front part of your brain. It helps to regulate the body. It helps to establish order both within the body and in the environment. And anytime that you say establishing order, it means you're reducing stress and dysregulation and you're improving vagal tone. So in ancient times, would they'd say you're restoring order in the body or divine order. That is the divine order, regulation of the fight flight mechanism, and then strengthening of the rest and repair mode. And in that, there is an order.
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
well, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's good. Look forward to coming back
So
to it.
this could be a daily practice for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
This is,
five,
this
ten
is
minutes. Just sit at home and, whenever it
what I
is.
was
Like you get
thinking.
home and
Incorporate that. Yep.
you take your jacket off and you sit and you go, okay, I'm gonna go sit on the couch and
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be some big dramatic, thing about like, I got to sit down and do a practice. Sometimes it's, I'm going to do this before I watch a movie or like, what I
Yeah.
mean? It doesn't
Right.
have to
Right.
be so,
Yeah.
so over the top or so just
Regimented.
one way. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can, you can integrate it into all kinds of things.
Great. Great. Yeah. One more thing too. This oil is like really yummy. I mean, what's
Mhm.
going on with this one?
It's yummy.
This is like a really kind of, you don't
Let me
smell
see
this
what's,
one every
I can't
day.
remember. Can't remember what's in it. We'll
Excuse
look
me.
them up. Um, yeah, it's a funky one. So it's thyme serpulette, which is a funky, weird thyme, and then holy basil, and then lemon petitgrain, and then benzoin and knotgrass. Yeah, a bunch of
Oh,
things you wouldn't think.
together, right?
Yeah, yeah. You're like,
yeah.
I mean, I
So,
kind of get the petitgrain and the holy basil together, but you know,
yeah, what was that other one you had in there? You had the thyme cerebin
so thyme serpulette.
serpulette.
Yeah, and then holy basil, lemon petitgrain. Like petitgrains are the leaves of a citrus. So like regular petitgrain is the leaf or the
Orange. So,
orange, right? And then there's different parts of the grow cycle. You get different kinds of petitgrain. When it has a flower, when it has a fruit, when it doesn't have anything.
oh,
So there's
okay.
different kinds. And then so this one's from the lemon tree instead of the orange tree.
Okay.
And so similar properties, but it's still a little bit different and different enough to. I love petitgrain, so I have like probably 10 different petitgrains.
Hmm.
So most people don't have the weird geeky thing I have about petitgrains. But and then the benzoin, we just did a write-up in the newsletter about benzoin. It's very soothing and it helps put like distance between you and whatever is agitating, and it does it by really reducing agitation and reducing shock. Because if you think about it, on one level, you're like, oh, it puts distance and it's like, oh, I'm running away or I'm checking out or something like that. Um, it's calming agitation and it's calming and reducing like any potential for shock. And what gets us entangled in situations is agitation.
Hmm.
Like we try to fix it, we try to manage it, we try to don't do that. don't do that. No, don't do that. Stay the way that I need you to be. But when you're kind of in vagal tone, you're like, I'm gonna see how this plays out. You know,
Mm.
okay.
Right,
We'll see. Because, if you think about it, a
right,
lot of times when we're having those reactions, we're not really thinking of what the consequences are, or a better way of saying that, if there's a consequence.
right,
We get so stuck in survival mode where we go, like, I need to not let this get bad. I need to not let this get worse. I need to not let this get out of what I think it should be doing. When you really think about it, you're like, well, even if it goes crazy, does it really impact me? And then if it doesn't, then you're like, um, it might be a little weird, but it doesn't really justify the stress response that I'm having, like to engage that
right,
that
right,
stress response. And so you start going, yeah, it's a little bit stressful, but I don't have to put out this fire. And is
right.
it even really a fire? Is it maybe more uh uh, you know, just something that might trigger a reaction, but isn't necessarily something that really, I don't want to say isn't important, but it really doesn't impact you the way you th- you think it would.
Yeah. You don't have to buy into the emotion or the stress of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
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 Oh, great. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good one for work, and good one, especially if you're in difficult times or difficult situations with work, or just, you know, it's a crazy world out there. It kind of
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
for anything and everything.
Yeah. I can see bringing this one in
The
the
world's
morning.
not going to get more calm in the next week or two.
Probably,
It's just,
probably not.
no.
No.
So,
Not this week.
it's a change of an age. Like, that's what I keep telling myself. It's a change of an age.
Yeah.
Just gotta ride the wave, and
Yeah, rough waters ahead kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just it's a change of an age. Well,
Thanks.
yeah, you're so.
Thank you.
And then we had a couple shares as well. Someone said, at first, the energy was active and jumpy. Then I felt a deep calm, especially during the mudra. The mind was like floating on a cloud.
Oh, good. Good for you.
From the kit, what is the yuzu spray used for?
Like, I can't remember if that's, can we look that up?
Yep,
I can't remember what
yep.
that.
Let me get that.
So yuzu is also very balancing to like the dysregulation and vagal tone, and it increases the the vagal tone while diminishing dysregulation. But also, I can't remember what I wrote about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Malkhiel didn't have the yuzu spray. The Malkhiel had Pettigren's
Oh, there you
restorative.
go. Pettigrew also increases vagal tone. Increases vagal tone and reduces Pettigrew, reduces confusion in the mind. Helps reduce, like, a little bit of that freeze component and like fogginess in the mind and brain. It's also soothing to the nerves.
The yuzu was in last week's Archangel Malkhiel, and the way it was described is a bright, harmonizing spray that balances emotional intensity and supports clarity and forward
Mm.
movement. And I just don't know if people know, but Greg, when he's doing the packs every week, he does evaluate to see which spray will complement the different angels for
Yeah,
each
we try
pack.
to make it like a very amplified effect, but
And you
uh,
can use the sprays with any of the angels, of course, right?
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. The thing that I would say, like with yuzu, is I use it sometimes. You know how you would use rue to cut cords. Yuzu doesn't quite cut cords, but it still has like a soothing quality where you're dealing with dysregulation the way rue does. It's just a bit softer, you know. Ru feels like a military operation. Yuzu feels like a walk, through the forest or something. Like, it's just kind of calming and soothing. Yeah.
Someone else shared, I definitely felt the stress of the day fade away.
Mm.
Thank you for the mudra practice. The message from the angel to me was, I am the light on your path.
Oh, good. Yeah, that fits. Okay, so one of the other qualities of Malkhiel is not just protecting the soul on its journey, but also a protective quality even when we're out in the world, right? And so there's two aspects that we really want to look at. So one is when people are being negative, whatever you want to call it, like psychic attack, aggression, stress, agitated, and it's directed specifically at you, right? Like, we were talking with Dan, and it's like somebody at work's going, Dan this, Dan that, Dan, why did you do this? Or, whatever it is. That's very personal, right? But Dan could also just be in an office where he's good with everybody. Everybody is good with him, but the stress in the office is intense, So this is what you would call a radiatory field, right? So there's things directed specifically at you, and then the radiatory field where you're just in a negative environment or a stressed environment or environment where maybe an argument happened, you might not even have been present, but it's there, it's lingering in the air. And so the idea of Malkiel also helps with when it's either directed specifically at you or if it's tied to that radiatory field. And the radiatory field is, you go into a stressful environment, you're feeling all peace and calm and feeling your zen and you're feeling like, oh, you know, I'm I'm walking, my heart's activated, and you go into a stressful office and you're just like, after 15 minutes, I'm not feeling my zen and my heart's not activated and I want to make a run for it, right? It feels agitated or agitating. So we want to be able to strengthen our field and also strengthen what you would call your resonance so that whatever's out there doesn't impact and shift you and make you match what's going on out there, right? You kind of create like a boundary in your field so that those things don't really impact you quite like you know they would normally. And then also when somebody is agitated and upset directly at you, part of what happened is both your energy body and your physiology have a reaction. It's not just that something's projected at you. Your body doesn't feel safe. Your body feels either traumatized or afraid or unstable or it thinks something bad's about to happen or that it is happening or it's triggering something from the past, right? Some previous time where something happened. And so we want to again create that boundary so that it's harder and harder for those things to happen, right? So that boundary energetically is just like a refinement in the energy body, but in your physiology, it's a refinement of the nervous system. It is that vagal reinforcement, right? It's not just like, oh, I've achieved a little vagal tone. It's like I've achieved a little vagal tone and it's a little tougher than it used to be. Go ahead, try to push me over. Go ahead, come on, try to push me over. And like, whatever comes at you, you're like, nope, still got my vagal tone. You can't take it away from me, right? I'm 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 standing in my vagal tone. Right? And so that's what we want to kind of shoot for, so that when we're in these situations, um, we don't lose who we are, right? So we're going to use the same oil. We're going to use the oil for Angel Malkiel. And we're gonna do two things. First, we're gonna do the four quadrants of the aura. right? This will help to purge things out of the system, but also will help to begin to fortify and create that energetic boundary, or it will help to strengthen the vagal tone that we have, right? So your awareness, bless you, your awareness is on your left side of your body, left side of your face, neck, your left shoulder, your left ribs and hip, down the outer leg to the left outer ankle, your whole left side. You're still on the left hand side of the body. Now, move your awareness to the front of the body, the face, the throat, the chest, the abdomen, front of the pelvis, down the front of the legs to the tops of your feet, the whole front of your body. And then the right side of your body, the whole right side. Right side of your face and neck, your right shoulder, your right ribs and hip, down the outer leg to the right outer ankle. And then the back side of the body, back of the head, neck, your whole back, your hips, down the backs of your legs to your heels. And then pause and let go. Just pause and let go. Just let it incubate for a moment. Okay, so next phase to helping to protect us is to do the materialization breath. So you're going to take the bottle, you're going to hold it to your chest. Right? If you're not working with oils, still follow through and do this process. So we're doing the materialization breath where you lower your chin, you inhale through your nose, hold your breath, bring your head up, exhale, down, inhale, 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 up, exhale. Just be still. Your eyes are closed. Just let it incubate. Maintain your stillness and awareness. Okay, again, bottle to your chest, chin down. Inhale through your nose, hold your breath, head up, exhale through the mouth. Down, inhale, up, exhale. 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 Just be still. You're maintaining your stillness and awareness. Okay, so we did the four quadrants, right? We flush things out of the field, and by flushing things out of the field, it makes the energy body stronger, it makes it more vibrant, right? Then we go through and we do the materialization breath, where you're materializing light into the body, into the emotions, into the mind. You're materializing light into your field, right? Now, the next thing we're going to do is with the angel blend is we're going to hit the energy centers associated with the different aspects of will. We're going to hit the basic chakra for the physical will. We're going to hit the front solar plexus for the emotional will. We're going to hit the ajna for the mental will. And then we're going to hit the crown for the spiritual will, right? So these help to make up that boundary, that energetic or neurological boundary that surrounds us, that keeps us from being influenced by the environment, right? So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the bottom of your tailbone. Your awareness is on the bottom of your tailbone. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now, move your awareness to the front solar plexus, that area below your ribs on your upper abdomen. And then your awareness is between the eyebrows. Your awareness is between the eyebrows. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is between the eyebrows. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Move your awareness to the very top of your head, the crown. And then just pause, be still, and just let it go. Let everything go. You're just being still. Now, notice your body, your emotions, your thoughts. How does everything feel? And let's just re-experience the mudra. Right hand, like so. Left hand, like that, so that they're like this. Right hand, the back of the right hand goes to the chest. And then just close your eyes. And then just let it go. Just let everything go. Okay, let's do shares and questions. You can unmute yourself and type in. We'll do that. And then with whatever time we have left, we'll still do another practice.
Go ahead, Teresa.
Hey, hey.
Hello. That was really cool.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, I really like the mudra. It's always
Yeah,
amazing. I could
yeah.
never have orchestrated all the perfect timing. So great. Um, and so after the materialization breath and while you were doing the boundary building,
Mhm.
I I kind of asked myself a question, like, why am I still attracted to an old situation? And I just heard it's not you, it was your body, like it was a frequency.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah, sure.
and and it was just like a another like affirmation of working with this angel, because I think you had talked about it, that is about that protection. So it just was kind of a nice synchronicity of like asking that and having it, come to me that, okay, it's not you, but we're really building that boundary and we're releasing that.
Right. Yeah. It's a weird thing because like even though that it's a unpleasant or an uncomfortable or traumatic experience, um, that's the part of the survival part of the nervous system, and then also the part of the mind, the intellect or the reactionary part of the mind, is that is as much as that was uncomfortable, it's like it's still, that's why it's always a loop. It stays in that loop. And instead of going, I don't want to do this anymore, let's get up, I'm gonna take my ball and go home, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
It tries to manage it.
Yeah.
It tries to manage, like, if this person comes again, I'm gonna do this or I'm gonna do that. When it's really like, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. I don't want to play. It really does become that. But it's like what I was saying at the beginning is I would love for it to be that every time that happened to any of us, that it got to be a conscious decision. But it's almost like in those situations, that loop is so repetitive that we almost have to go, this is a dream. We have to wake up. We have to wake up from this. Wake up. And then you can take your ball and go home. But until then, it's just like we're stuck in this like I call it dream time, but it's more like nightmare time or
Yeah, I
something.
was
You know
gonna
what I
say
mean?
your
Yeah,
nightmare.
it's not really a nice dream. It's just, and sometimes when we're having nightmares, it's not literal, but it's trying to let you know, like, hey, this is the neighborhood you're in. It might not be specific details, but it's like you're in this vicinity, you're in the bad part of town, like you're on the wrong side of the tracks, like, you know, it's
Yeah.
like an alert to get out of there. And, you know, when I think about those kinds of dreams, sometimes it's like they even have like a different color or texture. They feel like more, not quite black and white, but like gray and black or gray and white or something. There's this
Hmm.
weird like tone and I can just tell like there's something going on in my mind is like stuck in some loop. Yeah.
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 Well, thank you for
Yeah,
de-looping
you're
us.
so welcome.
Thanks.
And then go ahead, Denise.
Hey, hey.
Let's get you unmuted.
I'm sorry. Um, I wanted, hoping that you could maybe speak about the ajna, how it works in all of this. Is it more organizing or?
The ajna?
Yes.
So the ajna helps to regulate all the other centers. It's, even though it's here, you would think of the crown chakra maybe being the master chakra, but it's actually this one. And so it regulates and sequences all the other chakras. And so when we're in dysregulation, the ajna would shrink. And then when we're in regulation, it would potentially get bigger. And it's also the center that would be associated with like impulse control and decision making, things like that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're so welcome.
Someone shared, it was either right after, I think, the left, front, right, back, feeling very cold suddenly.
Yeah, that's sometimes, you have the two channels associated with your nostrils, and sometimes the energy going up and down the spine, like there'll be an excess of one versus the other, and it takes a little bit to regulate sometimes. And so you might feel excessively cold or excessively hot for, it's usually a short period of time, and then the body regulates. But, either there's an excess of energy going down or an energy going up, and then you might be pushing through a blockage, something like that, and then the body will normalize. So
And somebody's asking, could Greg please repeat the energy centers and what each affects governs?
sure.
And then
So the basic chakra has to do with the physical will. Then the solar plexus. Here you can just focus on the front solar plexus. That is the emotional will. Then the ajna is the mental will. And then the crown is the spiritual will. So you think of them as like different aspects within the body, the nervous system, but also in the aura or the energy body. And there's like not just you're trying to establish a boundary, but there's different aspects. Like the physical boundary associated with a physical will would be reducing the things where it might cause like substantial instinctive responses. So you're basically reducing the potential of getting triggered or to have those instinctive responses get super agitated. And then the emotional shielding would be that you're not really taking on other people's emotions, and you're not really necessarily reacting to other people's emotions. So even though somebody might be aggressive, you're like, somebody got up on the wrong side of the bed versus, you know. And then the mental will is, it's associated with strategic thinking and things you want to cultivate. And so, part of it is it reduces the potential influence of other people or other outside stimuli on the mental body, and then allows you to be more strategic and cultivate like better decision making when it comes time to make your choices. Like we were saying, less, like I was just saying to Denise, um, less impulsive and less reactive in the decision making, a little bit more like what is really the good choice? Because a lot of times the best choice isn't the easy choice or the thing that is just, oh, that's the reaction to do to put out this fire. Sometimes you go, sometimes I might have to make a tough decision, and you know stick to my guns or something like that, and not necessarily argue or fight, but yeah, I mean, that could open up a can of worms, but you just stick to doing the thing that's best rather than what's easiest. And then the crown is the spiritual will, which is really about the aspect of the will aligning with the soul and being guided by the soul, or walking the path of the soul rather than the path of just trying to survive and being driven by the lower nature. And so, it basically reduces the influence that might make the lower nature override your upper faculties. So, yeah.
Thanks. That was
Yeah.
great.
So, okay. So we have a little bit of time left. So let's go back just to the basic idea of working the angelic energy with the basic standard pattern. So you have the oil, and we're going to start with the forehead. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the forehead. Now move your awareness to the back head. Your awareness is on the back head. sides of your head, like this, the sides, all sides of your head. Now your awareness is on the brain. Your awareness is on the brain. Your awareness is on the brain. Now, your awareness is on the high heart, the bottom of the throat, the upper part of the chest, that little notch between the two collarbones right here. Your awareness is there. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then just let it go. Just letting it go. So the last piece, visualize yourself in a ball of light. Yeah, while you're inhaling. You're visualizing yourself completely surrounded by light. And then just pause. Pause and be still. So since we're in a nice, quiet place, how about I chant the name a few times and we'll take it a little deeper. All you got to do is just be still. Your eyes are closed. If you'd like to do the mudra, you could do the mudra, but you don't have to. Mo. Mo. Just be still. Notice how you feel, your body, your emotions, and your thoughts. And so when it's talked about the path of the soul, in the mind, that's intuition. And in the body, it's vagal tone. They're really two sides of the same coin, but one's a little bit more the neurological side in your body, and then the other part is the neurological side that impacts the mind. And so the more that we keep cultivating this aspect of vagal tone, which is nice to have something to target. Like when I was growing up, it's like, okay, walking the path of the soul. I'm supposed to reach up and grab something in these ethers of some mystery or unknown thing to try to walk the path of the soul. Like, ugh, what does that even mean? Right. But when you have this concrete, like, target of, okay, we're going to target the nervous system, we're going to target the mind, cultivate the intuitive mind, that gives you something to work with. And even if you're not in a place where you go, well, I don't know if I really want to put a ton of time and energy into spiritual growing and evolving. I just want to feel happy. I just want to feel nice. Still, it's the path to that. It's the path of a sense of well-being or having happiness in your life. The ability to just be rather than always waiting for the other shoe to drop and being defensive and living in the past. And so really it's also healing, healing of the body, healing of the mind. Um, so, all the angels can potentially impact what we did tonight, but this one especially does. So again, if you have, we have just a few more minutes before we got to shift over to the Tuesday night prayer petition blessing. So if you want to do a share or have a question, let's go ahead and unmute and type in and see what you got.
Yeah, go ahead, Danelle.
Hey, Danelle.
Hey, Greg. Yeah, thank you. It was really calming,
Yeah.
and I started to have thoughts of like a higher perspective.
Oh, very
Um,
nice.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting. A lot of people around me, family members especially, are very polarized, especially
Yeah.
politically. And
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah.
someone's on the opposite end, they will cut people off.
Yeah.
And it makes me really sad, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I was just reminded that we're all like spirits in these bodies. It's not
Right.
just our political, or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
And, unfortunately, it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. So
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
developing the survival skills for all of this is, going to be helpful.
But it was a really nice reminder and just,
Good.
being so peaceful, especially when you're chanting. It's really, really
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you.
I think we're working on, aren't we, like editing out just like each week how I tone the name? We're
Oh,
editing it out so we can have just like a.
Yeah, they're audio files. We
Yeah.
have just a handful right now, but yeah.
They're in the process of being done, so you can just go through and
oh,
push
yeah, that's
play
great.
and yeah, and then go
Is
through
that
and
on the Angel YouTube page?
it's not up yet. It's still in the process
No.
of being done,
Oh,
but
you guys are working on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, four or five. I think four or five have been
Yeah,
done.
so they're audio, and so I will throw them up on the YouTube. They'll just have like an image and then the video audio, and then I'm figuring out how to do it in a way for just going to the Angel on the website because their Angelic Encyclopedia link to each of the angels already has the video recording. So trying to figure out how to also link those audios to those angels. So
Okay.
we're gonna have a
Yeah.
couple different places you can enjoy from.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
I appreciated that we did this mudra today. This morning, whenever I went into the office, I just like sat and I was like, okay, I need to do that mudra. And so
Oh, did you
that's
really?
how I started the day
Yeah.
too. So
Oh,
I
heck
thought it
yeah.
was just kind of a perfect little thinking thing.
You psychically picked up on
What we were gonna do 12 hours.
this is what we're going to do in 12 hours or 11 hours and 11 minutes from now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, we're going to slide over to the Tuesday night prayer petition blessing. So join us if you can. It's just going to be about 15 or 20 minutes. And, I usually work in the angel to the process or the practice. So, you'll get to experience that a little bit. And then we'll bless the earth and your family and friends and just focus on areas of healing as well. So take care, you guys.